Hello viewers, um, I'm just happy to welcome you back to our channel. I think we haven't posted a video for a very long time, but I'm happy to share this video with you all today. This video is on a much debated topic in education, which is Montessori methodology versus traditional education. And before we dive into this, I would like to share with you all that I was invited by one of the leading education magazines of India to give an article on the same topic. And therefore, my talk for this video today is going to be actually the core of what I have submitted to them. So let's dive into this right away with some real life examples. So let's take a real life example. So let's think about this child called Vivan, uh, who is in the classroom, in a traditional classroom with almost 30 odd children or even more, studying division in the class. So how is it ideally taught? They would do it on the board or the smart board. They would explain to the children, and invariably the children would do it in the workbook or a worksheet. Now, whether that they are interested, they're not interested, have they understood, have they not understood, we don't know. But yeah, they would do it and they would finish it off. Or probably it will be coupled with a home assignment. Now, let's look at a Montessori classroom. So, in a Montessori classroom, if the children were to do division, it would be introduced through an amazing material, which there are a couple of materials for division. We have the division test tubes, we have the division board, but we introduce division itself as a concept through very simple objects, and it's called sharing. So it's really beautiful for children to understand that how can we, so first for children to learn division, it's without any remainders. So they would, get like a set of objects which they can divide equally. So we, instead of dividing, we say, how can they share this equally? So now they've got a very strong connection to this concept, and it's interesting for them, and they have the real objects to work on. So all of a sudden, if you see the shift from a traditional classroom where it's very abstract, the learning of the concept is very abstract, to a Montessori classroom where the learning of the concept is so concrete because it's hands-on. And obviously when children work with their hands, the hands are sending the signals to the brain. So the brain cells are getting activated. So which is why whatever concept that they're doing, they really would absorb that in a great way, and they are actually applying it. So they're doing it in the most practical way. So this is just one of the contrasts of traditional education and Montessori education. Now, another great thing about Montessori is that the children have the option to choose their work, the freedom to choose the work, which does not happen in a traditional setup because it is highly structured. There is no room for exploration or choice. I think we falter here as educational institutes because the children need to have some options to choose from. So in a Montessori classroom, one child can decide to work on a geography puzzle, another child can decide to pick up a book to read, another child can work with a math activity. So when they choose the work, children are actually showing you that they're interested in it. So the learning that happens is tremendous. Because in a traditional classroom, if I say it's A for everybody, everybody learns A for the day. But in in a Montessori classroom, the child is showing you their interest. See, at the end of the day, we want that when the children grow up and go into the real world, they should be able to make their choices, and they should be able to go for their respective career fields, but they still don't know what do they really like. Because our schools have never given them options when they were younger. But here, if you see, when they get options, the teachers, even the parents at home, even if the child is not going to a Montessori school for that matter, parents, you can see that the children will show you their pattern of interest. So the area of interest. So when you see their area of interest, and that will show as a pattern because continuously they're going to pick up a certain material or do a certain activity, they are showing you what they like. So this is a great way where we can understand their interest, and those children can build on those interests and become great mathematicians, musicians, and so on, which is so easy to discover because the process is like that. Now, another thing about which is the core thing about the Montessori methodology is its mixed age groupings in the class, which again is linear age in the traditional classrooms. So in my Montessori classroom, there are children of a mixed age group. Ideally, if it's a preschool, then the children would be from 3 to 6 years would be kept together in the same classroom. Now the beauty of this is that children learn a lot and a lot from each other. So the older ones help the younger ones, and they also are reinforcing, kind of relearning their own whatever concepts they have learned. And many a times the younger ones, without the teacher actually teaching a concept, they just pick that up because they would have seen an older child work on it. So this is again a very sharp contrast from a traditional classroom, because ideally in a traditional classroom there is very less revision or reinforcement of concepts. Like once they do it, either you do it as homework or maybe once they will go through it and it's done. But in a Montessori classroom, those materials are always there. So the children can always go through it, like they're always doing that. They're helping the younger ones. So there is a very interesting concept which is called the forgetting curve. So I know you must be all knowing about the learning curve, but there's also the forgetting curve. So this is a research which says that within 30 days, children forget 90% of what they have learned. So in a traditional classroom, they do not get an option to revise that continuously, whereas the Montessori setup gives them that option to continuously do it. So well at when we are thinking about a school for our children, and that is the kind of world we are in today. It is highly dynamic, we know that. It is AI driven, and we don't know what is going to happen even 5 years from now, because it's constantly changing and evolving. So as a school or as a parent, what kind of skills we want our children to develop so that they will be future ready. So what are these skills? These are skills of independence, confidence, emotional intelligence. Even more than their IQ, they need to have a good EQ. How will that come? That will not come by listening to lectures or just sitting in classes which are teacher led, because the environment cannot help the children develop these skills. So we need an environment which can help children develop these skills, and Montessori does it beautifully, where they are applying their knowledge, where they are critically thinking, where they are problem solving, and they are able to adapt. Adaptability also is a much needed skill, where they can learn and relearn, and I think most importantly, to develop their love of learning so that they are always ready and eager to learn. That is the kind of world they are going to be in very soon, where you'll have to continuously keep learning. And I think I would like to end this talk today in this video by sharing the example of none other than the Google founders, who have credited their success and their creativity to a great extent to their Montessori education, because they said that they could think out of the box because of the Montessori education. So now it's up to you, parents and viewers, that you decide what is best for your child. And just think about it, that how different would it have been for you if you were if you started in this kind of a classroom than a traditional setup. Would have made a difference? Would that or would that not have made a difference? And then you decide for your child. Thank you, and we'll be back with another video where we are going to take you into the magical Montessori classroom. Thank you.